My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. I'm going to walk through the entire UFC 272 fight card. I'm going to give you my picks, and I'm going to give you my DraftKings insight. We're going to talk about who's worth the money, who is not worth the money, who should definitely be in your lineup, and who you should leave out of your lineup. If you want $50, go to wewantpicks.com/DraftKings. Sign up for our free DraftKings League. Join our free DraftKings contests. And if you win, I send you $50 as a congratulations. The only catch is you need to be a member of this channel. There's a join button under this video. Click that button, become a member, and it qualifies you for all of our payouts and giveaways, including if you win our free DraftKings League. So let's dive right in. This is a really fun card. We did just lose our co-main event. So the new co-main event is Bryce Mitchell and Edson Barboza. We'll see if they get an opponent for Rafael dos Anjos. And of course, we will do an updated video. If you're watching this video and Rafael dos Anjos has a new opponent and you're watching on Saturday morning, just check to make sure I haven't uploaded another video with final insights and picks, because we always update based on weigh-ins and changes and things like that. I'm going to go ahead, instead of doing fight order, let's just do by price, because this card has a lot of big, heavy favorites. The biggest, most expensive guy on the card is Umar Nurmagomedov. He is a Nurmagomedov. He fights exactly like a Nurmagomedov, shot after shot after shot. I mean, he had 5 takedowns in this fight, and this fight ended in the second round. He still had 5 takedowns. He's exactly what you expect out of a Dagestani wrestler. He's just nonstop chain wrestling. His striking is just okay, but it doesn't matter because he's going to shoot, and then if he misses that shot, he's going to shoot again. He's fighting Brian Kelleher. Scroll to the bottom, fight Brian. He's fighting Brian Kelleher, who's the least expensive fighter on the card. And Brian Kelleher, he's got a ton of experience at this point. The UFC seems to be using him to test out how good some of these prospects are or will be. He spent a little bit of time at 145, but didn't have that same success because he likes to bully and use his physicality. So he's back down at 135. There's no way he's going to be able to bully Umar. Umar's going to win this fight. I see Brian Kelleher losing the same way he lost to Ricky Simone and the same way he's lost to Cody Stamann and some of these other guys that were able to take him down, hold him down, and get that done. So Brian Kelleher loses this fight. Umar Nurmagomedov should probably be in your lineup. That is a ton of money to spend, but I totally understand it. We got Colby Covington versus George Masvidal in the main event. Listen, Colby Covington, we know what he is at this point, right? His striking is actually very improved. He's got incredible cardio. He's got good wrestling. He didn't get the credit for the takedown against Usman, but he took Usman down and was the first person ever to take Usman down in a fight. But look at what this guy does. I mean, he's got volume. Look at the significant strike numbers in these fights. Look at the takedowns. This was a 5-round fight with Woodley, but he ended up stopping him. 3 takedowns, 78 significant strikes, put up some real numbers. But the control time is high, the significant strikes are high, and he does volume. If you think he wins, which I do, he's going to get some takedowns, going to get a bunch of control time, and he should win that fight. If we take a look at Jorge Masvidal, he is riding a 2-fight loss streak, but they're both to Usman. And I actually think this fight looks closer to this loss here, where he was basically controlled the entire time, didn't really let his hands go because he didn't have the opportunity. I don't think he gets stopped, right? I don't think he's going to get put out the same way that he was in his last fight. That was just Usman landing a perfect shot, having a ton of power. I think Colby Covington shoots 1 million takedowns, holds him against the cage, stays in his face. I don't think he's going to strike with him too long. So I do see George Masvidal losing. I don't know if Colby should be in your lineup. I mean, he's $9,400, and frankly, if I have the choice between him and Umar, I totally understand Colby has 5 rounds to work with instead of 3. But I think Umar could probably put up some better numbers because he may be able to stop Kelleher and get a bunch more takedowns. I don't know. Pick your poison. You probably won't be able to afford both of these guys. Then we got Marina Rodriguez fighting Yan Xiaonan. Marina Rodriguez, the real deal. The real deal. She's a good boxer, tons of power, solid speed to go with it. This Hibas knockout, that was a straight up knockout. She's got legit power. She's got a good ground game. And her losses, I mean, look at her losses. This was a draw, but she's got Cynthia Calvillo, Carla Esparza. These are genuine top 10 women on the planet that she's losing to. And when she wins, she puts up solid numbers. She's got good volume, good control time, puts up solid numbers. She had a knockdown, obviously, in the knockout with Hibas. If you look at Yan Janan, she's also a very good boxer. She's got really well-timed strikes, clean technique. She does like to fight clean. She likes to stay on the outside, pick apart. She doesn't really want to bang, but she will bang if you suck her into that. Her loss to Carla Esparza was a beating. Carla Esparza took her down, beat her up. That was the end of that. I loved it. I picked Carla Esparza to win that fight. But I wouldn't necessarily say that that's an easy task because Claudia Gadeja, also a grappler, couldn't take her down. And when she fought Karolina Kowalkiewicz, she got 5 of her own takedowns. So it tells me she's got really solid fight IQ. Oh, I'm fighting a good striker? Let me just take her down. And she did that 5 times. So I think Marina Rodriguez wins this fight. I also think it's a very, very tough fight. I will not have Marina Rodriguez in my lineup, especially not for $9,300, even though I think she wins this fight. And Yan Janan might be a solid underdog in your lineup because she could put up some numbers. Very good striker, and we've seen that she can grapple and put up grappling numbers. Then we got Kevin Holland at 170. If you remember, he was an 85-pounder. He can't defend a takedown to save his life. In this fight, he was taken down, I think, 285 times. And in this fight, a solid 286 times. Taken down at will, can't control it. But when he's on the ground, he actually has sneaky jiu-jitsu. And when he's on his feet, he has laser pinpoint accuracy in his strikes. This fight against Daukaus was a no contest because a wild headbutt. I mean, Daukaus put him out with a headbutt. So that, no outcome there. And you can't really look at that fight and say, oh, Daukaus knocked him out, because that really wasn't fair. This is where he shot to stardom here. He knocked out Souza. He was taken down, as he does, and just backhanded him in the mouth off his back, knocked him out, and then he had some solid performances before that. So Kevin Holland's a legit prospect, can put up real numbers when he wins. He's fighting Alex Oliveira. Alex Oliveira, tried and true at this point. He is having a bit of a skid, but these are not easy fights. Rakhmonov, okay, killer. Randy Brown's not bad either. And then Nico Price is a dog and will make every fight as dirty as possible. But he's a veteran. He's fought everybody. Look at this list. I'm still scrolling down. He has literally fought everybody. He's had success against some, lost to others. He's a tried and true vet. He's incredibly athletic. He has great kicks, great hands, but sometimes he's just so willing to have fun out there, he won't make the right decisions. If we look at his takedowns, yes, he is capable of takedowns, and we'll find out how willing he is to go to that, because like I said, sometimes he'll just go out there and try to have fun and is very entertaining, but will be on the wrong side of a decision or make some poor decisions and get stopped. There's a very clear path to beating Kevin Holland. Take his ass down. Everybody does it. Anybody who's tried does it. It's very easy to take down Kevin Holland. But Alex Oliveira, we've seen, like this fight against Dalby, he took Griffin down. Like, we've seen he's gotten some takedowns. The Nico fight, he took him down, but that was an interesting fight. Anyway, if Alex Oliveira just leans on a heavy grappling game plan, we've seen other people do it, he should be able to do it. I do think Kevin Holland wins this fight. His hands are fantastic. His jiu-jitsu is fantastic. And he has been spending a lot of time with quality wrestlers to try to shore up those holes in his wrestling game. He's dedicated. He's very good. I absolutely think Kevin Holland wins. If you want him in your lineup, do you think he stops? If he stops Alex Oliveira, then he's worth it. If he doesn't, he's probably not. Then we got Tagir Ulanbekov, another nonstop grappler, 4 takedowns against Nascimento, 5 against Bruno Silva, a shit ton of control time, and he puts up solid points. I think Tagir needs to be in your lineup. Similar to Umar. He's just going to shoot 1 million takedowns. He is fighting Tim Elliott. Tim Elliott is ridiculously tough. He is gritty. He's willing to stand and bang. He's also willing to take you down over and over. But he's not going to come forward. He's not going to be able to take down Tagir the same way that he did Espinoza, the same way that he did Royval. He's not going to be able to do that to Tagir. I know some people are loving Tim Elliott here in the underdog spot, but look at how he lost to Nikolai. I think it's more of that. I think he's not going to be successful with the takedown. He's going to get taken down. He's going to get controlled. He's going to get beat up. He is a tough guy. He's pretty hard to put away. But I do think Tagir just takes him down 1 million times. Cardio holds up. And I like Tagir to beat Tim Elliott. Tagir should probably be in your lineup. And I did a parlay if we pivot to betting. I parlayed Umar and Tagir together. They're basically the same person. So I'm perfectly fine counting on those nonstop chain wrestlers to get it done and to put up real points. Then we've got Rafael Fiziev out, gone. We'll see if we get a replacement to fight Rafael Dos Anjos. Then we've got Maria Agapova. She is fighting Marina Moroz. This is an interesting fight. If there was a fight that I was going to be positive was going to drop on this card, it would be this one, because we've seen Marina Moroz back out of fights against several people, including, let's see, who did she back out of most recently? She backed out against Araujo, Santos, Manon Ferro. So we'll see if this fight actually happens. But this should be a really fun fight if it does, because Maria Agapova, she comes forward, solid striker, good volume, high pressure, just throws caution to the wind and chases knockouts. She does have some actual power, but, she's fun, exciting, will work takedowns if she needs to, but will absolutely bang it out there if she wants to as well. She's pretty solid on the ground, but her takedowns are just okay. And she's $8,800. She is the favorite here. She's fighting Marina Moroz. Where are you at? Who hasn't fought in a year. She's coming back after a year-long layoff. And look at this. She fights once a year. Look at that. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Once a year. She's pulled out of a million fights. She's had a whole bunch of issues. But she is talented. She's a striker. She has solid volume, as you can see here. She's got solid volume. She mixes up her strikes and techniques really well. She also has takedowns if she needs them. If she ends up in the pocket, she can be hittable, which is not great. But this fight and this win over Buena Silva was really nice, and she showed that she has some grappling in there with those 2 takedowns, and she had 5 minutes of control time almost. I actually like Marina Moroz to win this fight. I think Agapova will have the slight edge in volume and ratio as far as striking is concerned, but I think the biggest gap between them is probably the grappling, and we saw Marina Moroz add grappling to her game plan. I just like her movement on her feet. I like her takedowns. They're much better than Agapova's takedowns. And I think as long as Marina Moroz avoids sort of standing inside the pocket and just banging it out there, I think she can pull off an upset and get something done. So I like Marina Moroz to win this fight. And depending what your lineup looks like, she is very affordable at $7,400. Then it brings us to Sergey Spivak. He's a grappler. He's looking for takedowns. He'll control you on the ground. She'll be able to submit you there. He did struggle with Alexei Olyeynyk. And if he didn't struggle with Alexei Olyeynyk, he would be a clear, absolutely he's going to destroy Greg Hardy. But 2 things have happened. One, we saw Greg Hardy almost knock out Tai Tuivasa. He cracked Tai. Tai was on ice skates. I thought he was going to put Tai away for a second there, and then Tai was able to come back, do what he did. But Greg Hardy hits like a truck. 2, Sergey Spivak looked like trash against an old Alexei Olyeynyk. He had no takedowns. He did not have a ton of success with the striking. He just did not look good in that fight. And that worries me, because if Alexei Olyeynyk had some success against Sergey Spivak in the striking, then Greg Hardy could put his lights out. Tom Aspinall did put his lights out, but okay, Tom Aspinall's arguably the best boxer in the division. So that is what it is. This does worry me. I'm not going to have Sergey Spivak in my lineup, but I do think Sergey Spivak wins. If we go look at Greg Hardy, I mean, he's feast or famine. He's knocking you out, or he's scoring no points and getting smoked. Sergey Spivak has an unbelievably clear path to victory. Just take Greg Hardy down, and you can beat him from there. But if he wants to stand and bang, he's going to have some issues, because Greg Hardy can stand and bang. So that worries me. I don't think I'm going to put Greg Hardy in my lineup, because, like I said, it's the game plan to beat him is ridiculously obvious. But I don't think I trust Sergey Spivak as well. Dustin Jacoby, $8,600. This dude has not lost an MMA fight. Let's see what I got here. Is it 2015? Yeah. He has not lost an MMA fight since 2015. He's a very good kickboxer. He took some time away from the sport. Look at this, 2012 to 2020. And in that time, he was kickboxing, and he had some success there, and he has great leg kicks. He chops down that tree, and then he comes up to the head and looks for a knockout there. He's fighting Mikhail Olyeynyk. I'm just going to call him Michael. Olyeynyk, who is also a striker, but he's sort of a first-rounder bust striker, comes out, guns blazing, looks for something, doesn't get it. The wheels start to come off. I like Dustin Jacoby to beat the crap out of Olyeynyk. He's been looking amazing lately. Olyeynyk has awesome speed. He's very fast, but I think Dustin Jacoby will chop the legs, remove that speed, and then work from there. I don't know if there's going to be a stoppage. There probably should be, honestly, but I like Dustin Jacoby to win this fight. I may have him in my lineup as well. I don't know if I could afford him, Tagir, and Umar, but I do like Dustin, and as far as I'm concerned, he's as close to a guarantee as you're going to get. Then we have Kennedy Nzechukwu. He is the comeback kid. He was getting his ass kicked against Ulberg, getting his ass kicked against Marquez, came back and won those fights with basically one punch, which is why, I mean, he scored 57 points in a knockout win, okay? That tells you everything you need to know about how that fight was going. He landed 31 strikes in 3 rounds. I mean, the problem is, in this Ulberg fight, he was losing the striking. In this Marquez fight, he was losing the grappling. We've seen him losing every aspect of MMA, and then he actually did lose against Jung, had ridiculous elbows against the cage, and took him out there. So it's interesting because obviously Kennedy Nzechukwu's never out of a fight, has insane power, but we've seen him losing a lot. Even if he won the fight, Ulberg smoked him, Marquez smoked him, and he just caught them with that punch. He's fighting Nick Nurmagomedov. Nick Nurmagomedov had a 2-year layoff, came back. This was a split decision against Kelleher. That was a really fun fight. He just beat the crap out of Isaac Villanueva. He's a good, fun striker. He has a 100% finish rate, or at least he did until this Kelleher fight. He throws everything with bad intentions. He pressures forwards. He does throw mostly looping shots. He'll stand right in front of you. And he relies on his chin and his power, but he does have a good chin. He's got takedowns if he needs them. They're not technical, but they are there. I like Nick Nurmagomedov to win this fight. $7,800 is probably worth it. We've seen Kennedy stopped before. Kennedy has proven he's got a ton of power, but I like Nick Nurmagomedov. I love him at under $8,000. Co-main event, at least as it sits now, we got Bryce Mitchell. He is fighting Edson Barboza. Bryce Mitchell, nonstop grappler, very good grappler. I mean, look at the takedown, 7-3. Only one here, but it's because he got a submission in the first round. No takedowns in the Moffitt fight, which is interesting, but 3 against Diamond. This is what this dude does. He takes people down over and over and over again. He works submissions. He's on the ground. He's looking for submissions. His strike volume is pretty low because he is looking to scramble, looking for submissions, not really looking to hit you. And he'll just shoot over and over and over. $8,300. If he comes out there, 7 takedowns, 3 takedowns, he's worth $8,300. But he is fighting Edson Barboza, and Edson Barboza is no slouch. This is another guy. As I scroll through here, look at these names. Look at who he's fought. First of all, the Shane Burgos knockout, that was unbelievable. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. He knocked Shane Burgos, cracked him, and Shane Burgos was just on his feet for like 45 seconds, but completely unconscious. It was very odd. But look at even, yes, some of these are losses. Gagey, Felder, Ige. But look at who he's fought. Dan Hooker, Kevin Lee, Khabib Nurmagomedov, Dariush, Melendez, Pettis, Ferguson, Felder, Johnson, Green, Dunham, Cerrone. Look at these names. I'm still scrolling all the way back to 2010 in the UFC. A tried and true veteran that is incredible on his feet. He's got phenomenal leg kicks, great hands. He also has very, very slick jiu-jitsu and amazing movement. He is not easy to take down. Khabib Nurmagomedov took him down 4 times, but he was 4 of 13. That's Khabib Nurmagomedov was only able to take Edson Barboza down 4 times on 13 attempts. I do like Bryce Mitchell to win here, but I don't think he's like a guarantee, right? But I do like Bryce Mitchell to win. I think he will get the takedowns. And it's a really interesting fight for Bryce Mitchell. Big step up in competition, which is what he needs. Bryce Mitchell can only win this fight one single way, and that is taking Edson down. Where Edson could actually submit Bryce. Edson could knock him out on his feet. Edson has more ways to win, so it goes against my conventional wisdom of, if there's 3 ways to win and one guy can do 2 and one can do 1, you got to go with the guy who has more ways to win. But I do think Bryce Mitchell is just so nonstop with the wrestling that he'll just stick to that over and over and over again, and he will beat Edson Barboza. If you want to throw him in your lineup, go for it. He's almost even money at this point, but it is interesting. Then we got Jalen Turner, and he's fighting Jamie Malarkey. This is a fun one because Jalen Turner is a banger. He reinvented himself, he is fighting Jamie Malarkey, who has reinvented himself as a striker as well, because Jamie Malarkey, the beginning of his career, was a grappler. All of a sudden got some knockouts. His hands are looking good, and now he's basically a striker. But Jalen Turner is actually a striker. He's a very good boxer. He comes forward and he fights at range at the exact same time. He has amazing distance control where he's always coming forward but keeping you at the end of his punches. He's very tall for the division. He's 6'3". Jamie Malarkey's no slouch at 6 feet, but Jalen Turner is 6'3" for the division. He is coming off of 2 submission wins. So this is a guy who has worked in wrestling, worked in grappling. His takedown defense is 78%, but he's a striker with solid hands. I like Jalen Turner to win this fight, but let's take a look at Jamie Malarkey. I mentioned his career started as a grappler, 5 takedowns against Farasiem, 3 against Brad Riddell, and those were losses. And then all of a sudden he knocked out Kama Worthy. He's coming off that knockout over Smith, and now all of a sudden Jamie might think he's a striker. I think if he stands with Jalen Turner, he'll be on the wrong end of that. I think if he starts shooting sloppy takedowns, Jalen Turner will stuff it. I mentioned he's got 78% takedown defense. I like Jalen Turner to win. He could probably be in your lineup. Obviously, Jamie Malarkey's proven he can knock people out, but that's not his bread and butter. That's not who he is, and he's knocking out guys that can get knocked out, if that makes any sense. And that's it. That's our breakdown. That's every single fight as it sits right now. Make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you like, subscribe, do all the things. And we will do a final breakdown on Friday after the weigh-ins. Once the dust settles, if they got some replacement opponents, some things move around here, we'll do a final breakdown then. So go to WeWantPicks.com/DraftKings. Join our free league. Join our free contest. If anything, it's just fun to do. But if you win the free contest, I send you $50. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, however you want it. I send you $50 as a congratulations. Just click the join button under this video to become a member, and I'll see you guys this weekend.